Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. It is July 29th, 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here at the Cactus website, and this is for coronal mass ejection detection. It's a pretty interesting site. It has some really good visuals and some information on CMEs. And what I've been doing is I've been monitoring the situation with this last CME, and you can basically click on these small links as they are taking imaging at different intervals of this CME that occurred. Over here you have a complete timestamp, and where you see this yellow marking, that's basically where the CME started and it was detected. So I wanted to show you exactly what has occurred, and the reason why I'm bringing up this information is because in approximately 7 to 10 days, that sunspot AR2665 is going to be facing Earth, and this sunspot is directly on the equatorial region of the Sun, pretty close to where the Earth is situated. Even though we're 93 million miles away, we are reachable, very reachable, if one of these blasts takes place at any point in time when this sunspot comes back around and is now facing Earth. And what you're looking at here is imaging from Cactus. This is the LASCO C2. And it's pretty impressive, and that was a very impressive CME blast. And I just wanted to show you some of this imaging. And you know, they take it in different intervals. So here is another view of it. And if you look at the timestamps down below, you'll see a slight variation in these timestamps. And this is just a later version of what occurred. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next one here. And again, this view of the LASCO C2, again, this is a later version of this CME blast. You can see how powerful it was. What's even more concerning is the venting. Now again, these are taken in segments, and if you look at the timestamp once again, this is taking you from the end of the 28th into today, July 29th. And you can see even 24 hours after the blast, after the CME, you can still see an extreme amount of energy coming from this sunspot. That concerns me. That's showing all of us that there is major activity involved with this sunspot. Now, in the next 7 to 10 days, as the sun rotates that sunspot back and it becomes Earth facing, will this activity slow down? Well, that's something that we are pretty much going to have to wait and see. This is going to be kind of a nervous time, folks. I don't know if you realize the danger of this situation that we're going to be facing. You know, things can be kind of quiet with this sunspot as it moves towards the Earth, and it could be facing Earth for a 24-hour period and then start to rotate off, and then we could have another coronal mass ejection. And you have to understand how vast and how large and how big these coronal mass ejections are. And over the course of the last week or so, we've seen some very, very large coronal mass ejections. You know, so many of those professionals will tell you, like I said yesterday and the day before, oh, there's nothing to worry about, blah, 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 blah. But now, over the course of the last several days, they're all changing their minds. But they're still kind of being a little quiet. I guess they're going to wait till this sunspot starts turning towards Earth, meaning a day, maybe 2 days out, and then maybe they'll say something in the lines of, hey, this is a warning. But they usually don't warn you with situations like this. And that's the sad part. But I just wanted to bring everybody up to date so we all know what's happening. Now, this was the actual CME burst that occurred yesterday. And once again, it was pretty impressive. It was definitely a sight to see. We've been seeing a lot of these coronal mass ejections over the course of the last week to 10 days. And if you notice, right after the initial CME or coronal mass ejection, this is where you start to see this venting. And that is what concerns me. Because usually when you have these coronal mass ejections, you'll get the big burst and you'll get kind of a short-lived venting situation. But as you can see, right back here where my cursor is, all the way through, we'll say that's about maybe 25% of the sun, it's in a full vent mode. And not just for a few hours. It continued for a complete 24 hours. And that's telling me that there is still major activity coming from that sunspot. And if you don't remember, that is the sunspot that we've been reporting on 2 weeks ago. Sunspot AR2665. If you want to Google it or look it up, track the information on it, you can do so. Just simply type in Google Sunspot AR2665. You should be able to find a lot of current information on it. One more thing that I did want to show you is the actual sunspot on the back side of the sun. And you're going to see this ejection. There it was here. You're going to see this big red plume just emanate straight from this sunspot. And as you can see, it is pretty spot on in the equatorial or the equator region of the sun. And again, folks, you know, we sit just slightly below the sun's equator. If you watched my video earlier this morning, you saw that I showed the sun was kind of jolting or wobbling back on July 25th. Very unusual. We've been having a lot of activity on our sun. And again, you know my theories, you know the doctor's theories, and you also know the evidence that we've been uncovering. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think our sun is going to sleep. I don't think it ever went to sleep. It's like a giant that is fully awake and madder than hell because of its interaction with what we refer to as Planet X, these brown dwarf stars. And I do say that in plural because there are multiple objects, multiple, that are interfering with our sun on a minute-by-minute basis. And this is what we're exploring. This is what we are trying to uncover. This is what we are researching and investigating. And once again, you will always have those people out there that will say nothing's wrong. It's okay. Everything is safe. But in fact, ladies and gentlemen, if you look around and you pay close attention to what is happening around the world, you will clearly see that the situation is not safe. It is not okay. And we may be in for one hell of a ride in the next 7 to 10 days, possibly even longer than that. And with the increased earthquake activity, volcanic activity, and the wild weather around the world, things just don't seem like they're getting any better. Things seem like they are actually intensifying. So just a word of caution. Be very careful who you're listening to. Do not allow other individuals to dumb you down with their comments or their statements, because you are seeing these things. You're seeing these things happen with your own eyes. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date with my observations, what I'm seeing, and I hope you see it also. This is Scott from Planet X News and the Nibiru channel. Thank you for watching.